So I keep forgetting to go through the people's team, the private group team first. Today we are going through that and some pretty cool trades. I decided for the crew, we had a couple of people suggest that Taps was the man to go, or AFB, and I won't be selling him in my team, so I'm going to sell him in this one. And Kolomatangi, King Tonga, and Tarpanay all going out for Haas, McEwen, and Isaiah Yeo. So pretty hectic trades there, and the squad is sitting with 8 after that. So came in with 11, which is really cool. Pushed down to 3,500 after last week, so moved from 4,000, got down to 3,871, and then down to 3,554 with plenty of trades to go. So in a pretty good spot, and we've actually changed captaincy to Mr. Nathan Cleary. So that will be a little bit of fun there against the unfortunately lowly Tigers, who are coming off a win, I suppose, which is good. But heading into this week, at the moment, it's like, do we loop Teddy, Fiketti? There's a couple of different options there. Probably feels like Teddy's probably the safest guy to do some looping with, so we'll muck around with that one here to start with just the one out in Farnworth this week, and no centre like Nwangani Tawaze to play with in that one. So that's the squad. Got Haas, got Yo, got Cleary now, along with May, obviously there. Both for Moore, Karaz, Drinky. Yeah, it's all still a pretty solid team, and we'll make some decisions on Teddy or then McEwen. So super easy, super comfortable on that one. So let's go to my team now, which currently has just the one trade to the name, and that is Kolomatangi in for Payne Haas, which is fun, obviously there. I'm going to leave him in that spot. I think I'm just going to stick with Terrell May. He looks and seems so excited to play footy with his brother, so I think he's just going to keep locking and loading, and he's probably going to try and get another try assist for his bro. So yeah, this is a team right now I'm generally pretty happy with. There's a few things going through my mind right now. So we look at the squad, and the 3 players that we're not going to be playing is going to be, at this stage, King Tonga, Latufenu, and Farnworth. So that leaves me picking one more player to not play, right? So that's where the looping comes into it. There's a couple of different things we could do. We can go Teddy, we could loop Teddy and Nwangani Tawaze if I want to. What this could change is if I trade out someone else. So let's just say, because I've only got the one out right now after selling Kolomatangi, Farnworth being the guy there, I could reverse that Kolomatangi trade to Haas and get to Payne from another way, which could be Tarpany or something like that. That's fine. I've got the 140 extra after selling Colo. So if I reverse that one, I'd need someone, I think, a little bit over 600k to be able to do it, which is fine. So that could work. That's just if both were to go really well. And now I'm not assuming that they do, but if they happen to, get 50 plus each, that's pretty exciting, and would mean that holding the Nwangani Tawaze would be, we'd be happy with that finally after a couple of 27s in a row. That's one option. The other option is just to not loop Teddy, just play him straight up, and then if Nwangani Tawaze doesn't go very well, Campbell's my next guy on the list to be able to loop in game 4, which is fine. And when I look at the rest of the side, let's just say I keep it as is, play Teddy as is. Now, if he doesn't go well, if he gets 27 again, he stays out of the side, which is good. And then I would end up playing everyone else, right? If Nwangani Tawaze does play well, then I think Garrick leaves the side for this one. So he would then switch. I'd make the move with Campbell there, and then just make sure Garrick is below Nwangani Tawaze. So Fainu would come into that. And as you can tell, to get Farnworth's score, at centre, I have Payne Haas, Watson, Hosking, Hines, and Latu, all not centres. So then Nawa would come in, and Garrick would sit there below Marky Boy and not get taken as the score. So that's one option to go with that one. If I was to roll with Teddy as the other guy there to loop, then, most likely I'm taking one of the scores out of the 2. And in this scenario, if it is Nwangani Tawaze, I leave it exactly as is. So Teddy would stay in 5 and doesn't come in. And if Nawa goes no good, Teddy does well, I move Farnworth into that slot there, which is cool. So how that would work is I would have to So good to go all through all of these things to make sure it works. So in that scenario, how do I do it? Oh, maybe I can't. Maybe I cannot. No, there you go. So there you go. This is why we do it, guys. I don't think I can actually move things around, can I? So center to center. Oh, no, I could. Adam Dewey. That's right. So Dewey would go to Hines. And then Hines would go to... Sorry, Dewey would go to Farnworth. There you go. And that'll be fine. Okay, so I can definitely do it. As I said, this is why you check those things. So if I didn't want Nwangi Tuaze score and I'm happy with Teddy's, I could play that one. The only trouble is if both of them go really well, which isn't actually a massive trouble. It's definitely a positive thing. If one of them goes well, then I leave the team as is. Don't play King Tonga, Fainu, Nawa, and then Farnworth. So I take Teddy's score and leave it exactly as is. So generally that's the really solid one. And if they both went well, I could reverse that trade, get Tarpanay out or something like that, and do it that way instead. So that's if I just trade once and leave myself with 7 trades. So that's seems like a pretty positive outcome. I have tinkered with the fact that if Nwangi Tuaze, I think he loses anything less than 50k, I can go him to Isaiah Katoa next week, which will make my halves even stronger, because right now Campbell is serving as like my third halfback. I have Dewey as well, which can do that. And I've got the 3 sort of centers and wing fullbacks there. So there's plenty of cover across the board, which is good. And I don't actually need all of these guys. Like if I trade Nwangi Tuaze, Edwards could be a guy to go across to, and it would definitely be an upgrade. But is that something we need to do, or we should do? He could go to Paddy Carrigan. He could go to Jerome Hughes. He could go to Hudson Young. I've looked at as well. Blake Brayley's obviously a fun one, but I've got Watson as the hooker cover there. Lower down than that, there's probably not too many guys I would push towards. So Nawa out is an option. I also have another option there. If Teddy and Nwangi Tuaze perform poorly, I could go, I think, Latu up to Tanner Boyd. I think is a fairly solid alternative there for my half to be my third one. So Fainu would go to Tanner at 532 in that one. So I wouldn't be able to do King Tonga, but Latu would be fine. So that's where I could go there. Message from NRL Physio. What's he got for us? Harodi, New South Wales Cup fullback. There you go. There you go. So Talakai keeping the spot. So just a few things to go through in this one. I could, because if I didn't play both of them, Latu, King Tonga, and Farnworth, there's 5 out, which means I'd have to play Latu. So trading him to Tanner Boyd is on my cards as well. I've looked at Nawa to Carrigan. I really like him as a scorer at the moment. I think Jerome Hughes is a great upside play along with Hudson Young. Hudson would leave me with 3 Raiders there. Which is something to think about for round 24. I may be selling a Hosking or a Tarpanay come that time anyway. I'm also a little bit worried about them resting in the last week or round 26 or something like that, because they are a high chance of getting that minor premiership. So I'm kind of just talking it through, because I really like the theory of having 7 trades come into next week with 6 to go, and I feel like it'd be well ahead of the game in terms of the average trades left in the top 1,000. And I feel personally, if I'm 772 coming into this week, I think I have a good enough team to maybe make another 50 or 100 ranks this week, get to like 700th. And then as things go along and as we get closer to 24, 25, 26, 27, and a lot of people have run out of trades or they're just holding and they can't make moves, I can swoop in and make some moves there and gain ranks on those guys. I personally think that I can make the top 300 here comfortable enough with extra trades in the bank. Because in that last week, I think I lost 200 ranks. So if I'm going the other way and making 200 ranks in the final week, due to having a pretty strong 17, where other teams might be at 14, 15, or they're playing 16, 17, but 2 or 3 weak guys, or Jack Birds and these type of guys in that 17, that I could make some ranks. I know that going down to 6 as well probably doesn't hurt me too much. But the thing is, this week, with those guys, both of them having potential to go 50 plus. Garrick has an easy potential to go 50 plus as well. We've got Karaz, Turbo, Dewey, Campbell. All of these guys should be able to do that job. Every second week there should be a 50 plus guy. Campbell, we're hoping for more. Karaz, similar thing, but we've seen a lot of mid 40s and high 40s. These guys can do that, and I don't have to make that move. What I'd be hoping for if I made the move is that I'm getting 60 type scores from those guys, and that's where maybe the extra 20 points is great, but all going okay enough this week, I don't have to take that risk, and I probably prefer an Isaiah Katoa just because he will play the rest of the year. They're in the fight for the top 8. So those types of decisions, something that I'm thinking of. And I suppose if they both don't perform, then a Latu to Boyd is a pretty easy one as well. And then I'd probably have to stay clear of someone like Isaiah Katoa, but we know with the Warriors draw that they've got, he could easily average 50 or so and do a really nice job for the remainder of the season. And then week to week, we'll have different teams on bye and whatever else. So that's my general thinking at the moment from my side. What are you thinking with yours? Are you looking at holding some trades? I think going to 6 is fine for me. But do I go to 6 this week, or make the trade or not make the trade and go to probably make the trade next week and use that extra cash? So I think either way, it probably just depends which player you want. Like, do I prefer Hughes over Katoa or Katoa over Hughes? Hudson Young, I have to think of that headache a little bit later. I've got 3 Tigers, so in round 25 or 23, whatever it is, when the Tigers have their bye, I've got to think about those guys as well. I don't have any Cowboys, so that's the last round. And then I think Rabbitohs. No Rabbitohs. So there's a few weeks where I don't really have to think about it, and there's going to be others where having the really good scorers around those players on bye is going to be sweet. So still sitting there without any of the cash downs, which I think is a good idea overall. And yeah, let me know what you do in this situation. I'm probably leaning slightly towards the looping of Nawa and Teddy in this one. So it just gives me a little bit more peace of mind coming into tonight against a really good team in the Storm. Nawa's edge is pretty tough. I know there was a try last week from Turbo to Saab there, which was good down that side, but usually it's a pretty good defensive outfit on that left-hand side. Yes, usually with Munster, but you'll have Wishy out there this week. And then Teddy just hasn't looked himself, and he's struggling to get 40s and stuff like that. So if I can loop both those guys there in this week, in this round, I think that's going to be helpful. And yeah, I think we'll go from there. So 50-50 at the moment if I trade or not. All the private crew will hear about it in the WhatsApp there if I do decide to make some moves or whatever happens following tonight, and we'll work it out from there. So thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in for this one. Good fun as always trying to work out trades, and let me know what trades you are making in the comments below.